with another group of special guests, vendors in the apartment field that I do business with. I've got Phil Atwan, who's our 1031 exchange guy. I've got Rich Trujillo, who is our insurance person. And then we have Candy from our Ambassador Property Management, and the legendary Eric Frazier, who I first did a loan with in 2002. And I've asked him to come in today and talk about commercial loans and basically non-single family property and markets. But I just want to talk about my market right now. In the apartment market, like last month, inventory is tight. I've got lots of buyers. So if you're thinking about selling your apartment building, you don't want to go through the loan process. You want to go all cash as is, 10 days. Give me a call, 562-903-0088, 562-903-0088. And let's start with Eric. Eric, tell us what's going on and what kind of products you have in the apartment or commercial world.
Again, my name is Eric Frazier, and a broker and owner of The Power Is Now, and that's powerisnow.com. And we specialize in everything. We do land, commercial, residential. We literally do it all. And in fact, and even churches and for nonprofits. So what's happening right now is a lot of people have been impacted with the great financial crisis, would like to get into commercial lending, and they fall into that category of maybe having the money but not the credit, or having the credit, not the money. And so I specialize in that group of providing financing for anyone interested in buying from 1 to 4 units to 5 units and more, commercial, tilt-up, multifamily, you name it.
So if you're watching this and you've got a friend or yourself and you don't have perfect situations, it's not just a turn down like it used to be a couple years ago.
No, in fact, we were speaking earlier about how many people have cash right now and just moving it from CDs at 1%, putting it into in real estate, a commercial property, getting 7-8% return on their investment. There's an opportunity now for those who may not have all the cash to pay cash, come in with 30% down and you can get financed. I'm talking 65 to 75% loan to value, no income documentation, no asset verification. It's just all based on the property itself. Asset-based lending is essentially what it is. And it makes for a great opportunity for those who have saved the money, but perhaps haven't corrected their credit situation. For example, we look at the last 2 years. So if you've had a bankruptcy or foreclosure, 2-3 years ago, it's not a problem if you're making your existing mortgage payments on time, and you have, I would say, a minimum score of 650, we can make it happen. 30% down.
Is this private money by and large?
It's not necessarily private money. We'll call it non-prime institutional money. It's
B?
Say again?
B money?
It's B money.
Yeah.
It's B money because of the flexibility. I mean, if you try to get a loan, I worked for Wells Fargo, Washington Mutual. I know what it takes to do a commercial loan, and after the blood type and skin grafts, you might get a maybe, but
So Eric, if someone has financing questions that's maybe a little bit out of the box, you're okay with them?
Absolutely. Please call me. You can reach me direct at 714-361-2105, and be happy to answer your question. Or we can even connect via Skype. Just send me an email at eric.frazier@thepowerisnow.com. I'd be more than happy to get video Skype with you and a video chat and look at your transaction.
Very cool. Candy, what's going on in property management that you can share?
Well, thank you for having me. My name is Candy. I'm with Ambassador Property Management. I'm the manager there. And I thought I would just hit on a couple things that I thought might be important for investors that are not here to watch their properties. And rents were one of them. And I was thinking, the rent market is going up, and a lot of our investors that are not here locally don't know that, so they're just kind of sitting, in a null. And that's where I come in. I will make sure that the rents are where they should be, do my increases, and the other thing is, which is really important, the other thing are the inspections. I do 2 yearly inspections to make sure that the property's being taken care of. Not structurally. I want to make sure that the investment that they've purchased and put in my hands to take care of, that we are watching that. So I do that twice a year
So the client could be in Salt Lake City
Yes.
or Baton Rouge, and the
Yes.
rents aren't necessarily going up there, and so
Right.
that's their mindset.
Yes.
And you're saying, hey, give me a
Right.
call, let's take a look
Right.
at your rents,
Yes.
because they are going up in Southern
Absolutely.
California.
Yes. And they're putting me in charge and hoping I do the right thing, and that's what I do. I keep an eye on the market and make sure that the rents are where they should be.
What's the phone number to reach you?
I'm with Ambassador again, Property Management in Whittier. My cell number, area code 562-209-3389. I usually take all my calls. If not, please leave a message. I return all my calls. One last phone number, my office number, area code 562-236-0102.
We brought Phil because Phil has been hobnobbing with politicians and government officials, and he's cozy with the IRS. So what
Not
is-
that cozy.
Not that cozy. Not that cozy. You don't want that kind of reputation.
No.
So Phil, what's going on in the 1031 tax deferred business, the tax saving business, the trying to defer expenses, costs, tax wise? What's going on there?
Well, after my meeting on Capitol Hill with the various representatives and meeting with real heads of the IRS, I mean, they were talking about tax reform. That's the number one priority. Everyone talks about tax reform. They're looking at everything. They're looking at the stepped up basis issue, possibly eliminating that. That's come up. They're talking about limiting or eliminating 1031 tax deferred exchanges, reducing the 121 primary residence exemption. That's the thing that you get when you sell your home, where they reduce the amount of capital gains so you don't have to pay tax on it. And also the mortgage deduction. So those are the big four issues that Congress are
It's kind
considering.
of depressing.
It is depressing.
To raise revenue. To raise revenue.
Raise revenue. They're looking for more ways to shore up the difference of the gap of the
So
debt.
it's hit the rich people, and this is an area where you can hit them to raise revenue for the deficit, right?
Except for one problem. They will stop doing what they do, and that's generate business. And when they stop generating business, lots of people stop working. They won't be able to pay taxes. They won't be able to go and spend and stimulate other businesses.
Do you see
And
any
that's a
of
real
these things
problem.
going to happen? Do you see any of these things getting through a Republican-controlled
Well,
Congress?
that's why we're meeting with various senatorial and congressional leaders, because if they at least understand what we're doing and why this is so good for the economy and how they actually generate more revenue by having these type of stimulus packages, and that's what the 1031 exchange was originally created for. to
Phil is
stimulate.
single-handedly holding the tax raisers at bay.
Yeah.
How do they get a hold of you?
I will not tell you what goes on behind closed doors.
How do they get a hold of you if they have questions about their own tax portfolio or doing an exchange or things happening in the future?
Area code 213-479-8800.
Email?
philatwan@gmail.com.
Rich, what's
Yes, sir.
going on? El Nino, problems, insurance? You had an interesting situation with a claim. You're solving problems and keeping people protected.
The big thing's been happening lately is property managers on site that they're giving free rent to. Their employees and their 24-hour coverage. And if they're employees, they're considered, you need to have workers' compensation. The problem happens, they're 24 hours, so we're suggesting to our apartment owners, on their contract with the property manager, you collect rents from 2 to 5 and you're off duty, or from 9 to something. Don't do any labor, don't fix plumbing, don't change a light bulb, call the maintenance, because that's when they get hurt. They fall off a ladder. And they really got hurt playing soccer. And they come in and all of a sudden, oh, I fell off the ladder. So in your contract, give them hours to collect rent, and they probably shouldn't be holding the money. That's one thing. The other area is a lot of tenants, they'll put something on the stove and walk away and forget it, and it creates the fire. Fire comes in and everything gets burned above, below, and now it goes on to the apartment owner's insurance. A lot of the owners now are requiring their tenants to get renter's insurance. which would cover that liability. Not only that issues, but also slip and fall issues. So it goes on their insurance. So those would be a couple of the things, and we've developed flyers that they can put in their mailboxes for their tenants. And also, again, just the warning, be careful with the on-site property managers that you're giving free rent to.
Rich, if someone's watching this and they've got that question, can they call you and you can show them some paperwork, some forms that you would recommend? Or?
Yes, simple forms, easy to read. At my email is rtrujillo@farmersagent.com, 714-522-0081.
All right, we've got 2 minutes. Anyone have anything brilliant to say you want to add to the
I've got a question,
conversation?
Eric. Some of my clients that are doing 1031 tax deferred exchanges are having some real challenges on getting lending. And the reason why is because they're coming out of LLCs or partnerships or corporations. Do you lend money for those types of borrowers?
Absolutely. LLCs, corporations, partnerships, it's not a problem at all. The property is vested in the LLC or corporation. It can remain vested. There is a personal guarantee. It is a recourse, full recourse. So as long as they don't have a problem with the personal guarantee, my lenders have no issue at all with corporate entities being vested.
Okay. That's really good. That's a help.
Now, I had a question for you guys
Yes, sir.
in regard to 1031 exchanges.
Yes, sir.
If Congress does eliminate that, what do you estimate the impact could be? How many transactions are going down right now via 1031 exchanges versus a traditional transaction?
Well, that's a good question. Our industry, it's called the Federation of Exchange Accommodators. What we did is we did 2 big studies, a macro and a micro study. We've come to the conclusion through these really large auditing firms that, and we showed this to Congress, that they're going to lose $80 billion in revenue over 10 years, $80 billion, if they eliminate the exchange, as opposed to just allowing it to continue, which puts so many people, 50 people get a paycheck
Right.
when an escrow closes. They pay taxes and they go out and spend money, and that stimulates the economy. Even the county recorder and the county assessor
We're going to
will
keep
lose
talking,
money.
but I'm going to let you guys go. So keep talking, and I appreciate you joining us, and I'll see you next month as we continue our discussion. Again, don't ask me these questions. Don't look at the newspaper. We have some real experts here, so take advantage of them. Tell them you saw the show, give them a call, and pick your brain.